Before applause, there was silence. Before the world noticed, the wind already knew your name. You were moving through shadows with purpose, no audience, no echo, just mission. The streets held their breath like witnesses before a miracle. And then came the pulse, that low hum only real ones hear. The rhythm that says, something sacred walks among us. That's you, not a trend, not a noise, a prophecy in motion. Every hardship was rehearsal, every scar a signature. The ground beneath you remembers each step, and tonight, it whispers again, they tried to bury what they couldn't break. The city lights flicker like they're saluting. The air shifts. The prophecy begins. You don't chase respect, you attract gravity. Every glance turns into scripture, every move feels like thunder taught itself your rhythm. You were never built for applause. You were forged for remembrance. The streets are not concrete, they are memory. Every crack holds a confession, every corner hums a testimony. They are the mirror of humanity, unfiltered, unforgiven, unforgettable. Politicians write laws, poets write verses, but the streets? They write truth in footsteps. You can't fake your way through pavement. It knows who limps and who marches. It's not impressed by wealth or filters, it listens only to rhythm, to the sound of those who kept walking when it hurt. The streets are not your enemy. They're your archive. They remember the days you walked home broke but undefeated. They remember the night you prayed under a flickering light post and still showed up at dawn. When the streets start saying your name, it's not gossip, it's gospel. It means endurance got loud. It means grace survived the grind. It means your silence spoke fluent struggle. That's why the streets speak in riddles, because truth has rhythm. You don't learn it in books, you learn it in bruises. Every almost you survived became a lyric the city hums when you pass. You've been walking inside prophecy without knowing it. Every delay was choreography. Every detour was direction. You weren't late, you were being tuned. The alleys that once echoed mockery now whisper your name with reverence. Because even pain respects persistence. The ones who used to laugh now listen. The ones who doubted now document. That's how respect is born, not from noise, but from evidence. From the kind of survival that doesn't post, it just exists. The streets don't worship perfection, they worship presence. They bless the ones who show up when no one's watching. Every nod from a stranger, every subtle glance of recognition, it's the city's way of saying, we saw you when nobody clapped. You don't need validation when vibration already testifies. Look around, graffiti becomes scripture, bus stops become altars. Even the wind carries your frequency. The world doesn't whisper your name out of trend, it whispers because energy bows to truth. And the truth is this, you kept walking. You kept showing up. You made resilience look graceful. You made discipline look divine. That's what the streets recognize, not fame, not fortune, but that rare fusion of humility and hunger. The kind that can't be bought, borrowed, or broken. When the pavement hums your name, it's not hype, it's history repeating its respect. Because the streets have always known one secret, the divine hides in the determined. There's a verse that moves like thunder under your footsteps, though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. Proverbs 24 verse 16. Not whispered from pulpits, but echoed from pavement. Because righteousness isn't about robes, it's about recovery. You fell, but you didn't fold. You broke, but you didn't bow. That's divine mathematics, every setback was multiplied into stature. Heaven counts scars differently than men do. The world sees wounds, heaven sees signatures of endurance. Each bruise was an autograph of purpose signed in silence. The streets understood before anyone else, holiness wears hoodies now. Grace doesn't glow, it grinds. Redemption isn't wings, it's willpower. There's divinity in discipline, that's what they missed. While others waited for blessings to fall, you learned to build your own altar out of effort. And the city saw that. It started to nod. Every lamppost became a witness, every shadow an audience. Because when heaven moves through humanity, even concrete gets chills. You are not a miracle waiting to happen, you are the miracle surviving the ordinary. Faith doesn't mean floating, it means fighting and still smiling. The verse says rise again, not once, but again. Because destiny doesn't quit after victory, it repeats resilience until the world can't ignore it. That's why your story isn't tragic, it's training. You didn't lose years, you gained layers. You didn't waste tears, you baptized your grind. Every time you stood back up, something unseen stood with you. Angels don't always come with wings, sometimes they come disguised as momentum. So when the streets whisper your name, they're translating a heavenly headline. The rumor in heaven is now reality on earth. That's what prophecy sounds like when it wears sneakers. It's rhythm mixed with reverence. You didn't just rise, you redefined rising. You turned falling into choreography. Heaven applauds silently, but the streets echo loud, because endurance has a sound, and it's your heartbeat syncing with scripture. The righteous rise again, not to boast, but to bear witness. Your story became a sermon written in sweat. And now, every step you take preaches, grace doesn't just forgive, it fuels. That's why thunder follows you. It's heaven's applause disguised as weather. You're walking proof that divinity dances through difficulty. And when the prophecy says, the streets are saying you're badass, it's just another way of quoting the verse, though they fall, they rise again. Rising became your accent. Faith became your fashion. You are not surviving anymore, you are rehearsing for resurrection. When dawn breaks, the city hums like a sleeping god waking up. Tires hiss through puddles that remember last night's prayers. Neon flickers on windows that hold secrets, sorrows, and small triumphs. Billboards fade, but murmurs remain. The whispers move through vents and alleys, gossip transforming into gospel. Even the pigeons circle above the streetlights like tiny prophets, repeating your rhythm. Taxi lights blink like halos caught in motion. Smoke rises from corner shops like incense from an altar. Somewhere, a bus engine starts, coughing the name of a survivor. The city doesn't sleep, it listens. It memorizes courage by the sound of footsteps. And yours walk different, steady, unhurried, deliberate. You don't run from storms, you synchronize with them. Raindrops become percussion, thunder becomes choir. Every block you pass through tunes itself to your heartbeat. This is what prophecy sounds like when it learns to groove. Grace has bass now. Faith carries drums. In the still moments between traffic lights, truth speaks softly. They said it couldn't be done, but look, the city sings their name. Shopkeepers nod without speaking, they've seen you through seasons. The vendor who watched you chase your dream now keeps quiet respect behind every exchange. Even graffiti changes meaning beside your shadow. Words sprayed in anger now glow like scripture when your silhouette crosses them. The city becomes cathedral, the skyline a choir stand, your breath the sermon. Every tower echoes discipline, every street hums mercy. Because they've seen something divine disguised as determination. You're not worshipped, you're witnessed. And that's enough. The city doesn't give applause, it offers resonance. Its music carries through open windows and tired souls, and each verse it sings in your honor reminds others they can rise too. Because when you kept walking, the city learned hope again. There's poetry in motion, the poetry of lights blinking in rhythm with faith, of engines revving like choirs in the distance. Somewhere a child watches you cross the street and doesn't know why their chest feels brave. That's the hymn you wrote without words. You are the song that made the alley stop cursing and start praying. You didn't just survive the city, you taught it melody. And now, when the wind moves through skyscrapers and cables, it carries your name like a verse that refuses to fade. Billboards can lie. Headlines can forget. But the rhythm of the streets, the eternal pulse beneath concrete, it remembers authenticity. Prophecy never announces itself with trumpets, it moves quiet, coded in coincidence. The streets don't send invitations, they send signals. And lately, they've been speaking your language. You've seen the signs, small, sacred, subtle. Respect from unexpected places. Strangers defending your name when you're not around. Dreams of pavements glowing gold, like the ground remembers something divine. A calm that follows you into rooms before you say a word. That's not ego, that's evidence. The universe doesn't clap, it confirms. Notice how people who once ignored you now move different when you enter. How silence fills the air after your laughter. That's reverence disguised as reaction. The streets can't lie, they've seen too much. They know when someone's energy is unshakable. The old crowd still talks, but their words sound hollow now, like echoes in abandoned temples. Because even their envy knows it's outmatched. The prophecy doesn't need permission. It grows in the cracks, blooms between deadlines and exhaustion. That's why lights flicker when you think of purpose, why songs hit harder when you're walking alone, why time slows down right before your next breakthrough. The signs don't need translation, they need recognition. Every coincidence is choreography. Maybe it's that lyric that hits like memory. Maybe it's that stranger who said exactly what you needed to hear. That's the language of destiny, subtle, steady, certain. Even your body has started to listen, goosebumps at random, chills during silence, sudden confidence that doesn't come from caffeine or applause. That's how the unseen confirms your alignment. Every sleepless night you endured became a star above your name. Every no you heard was a reroute to divine timing. You've entered that rare vibration where the world starts reflecting your growth instead of resisting it. The signs increase when arrogance decreases. Humility amplifies prophecy. The streets don't call everyone badass. They reserve that for the ones who didn't quit. Look around, every light post that survived another storm, every flower that blooms through sidewalk cracks, every stranger who smiles for no reason, they're all part of the choir confirming your rise. Don't second-guess divine rhythm. The prophecy is not coming, it's happening. And every sign, every whisper, every nod from the universe is saying the same thing in its own dialect. You're walking exactly where the legend begins. Because sometimes the miracle doesn't shout, it just walks by quietly, wearing your shoes. The compliment isn't random, it's revelation. Every word of respect that reaches your ears is a coded message from eternity. The streets don't flatter. They don't praise unless purpose has proven itself. When people start honoring you without knowing why, it's not them, it's heaven using their mouths to remind you, you made it through the fire without losing your fragrance. Street respect is heaven's applause and earthly slang. You didn't earn it with image, you earned it with integrity. That's why it lasts. Fame fades when the cameras turn off, but respect lingers in rooms you've never entered. That's legacy, not popularity. The purpose of the praise isn't to inflate, it's to confirm. It's not saying you're done, it's whispering, keep walking, they finally see what heaven saw all along. God doesn't announce blessings through miracles alone, sometimes he does it through murmurs. Through the sound of your name being spoken with reverence by those who once doubted you. The echo of your consistency has reached their conscience. That's divine justice without drama. You see, real glory isn't clean, it's consistent. It grows through repetition, through small acts of faith that no one clapped for. The world measures power by noise. Heaven measures it by endurance. That's why the praise came late, not because you were unseen, but because truth takes time to translate. The streets had to test you first. It had to see if your smile survived betrayal, if your tone stayed kind after chaos. And when it did, it bowed. Respect is not a trophy, it's testimony. That's why you feel peace instead of pride when they speak well of you. Because the glory doesn't sit on you, it flows through you. You became a vessel. Your presence preaches without effort. When heaven wants to prove endurance exists, it points at you. That's the purpose of the praise, not to make you feel above others, but to remind them that survival looks sacred. Every compliment, every quiet acknowledgement, every nod from the old heads who once doubted you, it's prophecy fulfilled in plain language. Don't let it make you comfortable, let it make you conscious. Respect is responsibility. Applause is assignment. Because when the world starts echoing your strength, it means the Creator trusts your humility. The purpose of the praise is not celebration, it's continuation. It's heaven saying, now that they see you, show them me. That's why you walk humble but heavy, carrying a crown invisible yet undeniable. The streets say you're badass, but heaven knows you're chosen. Chosen one. Now that the world whispers your name, guard your echo. Because fame feeds pride, and pride starves destiny. Don't slow down. Don't get soft in your own success. The same crowd that cheers you today is testing if you still walk like purpose weighs on your shoulders. Walk humble, but walk heavy. Heavy with gratitude. Heavy with grace. Heavy with the memory of where you started. Humility isn't weakness, it's armor. It protects you from believing your own legend. Every time you bow your spirit, heaven sharpens your crown. Pride kills momentum, but humility multiplies miracles. Keep your rhythm steady. Don't let praise change your posture. The same silence that built you must stay your sanctuary. Remember how it felt when nobody clapped. That's your balance. When they shout your name, answer with discipline, not ego. Because consistency is louder than chaos. Every blessing you carry is borrowed breath. Handle it like sacred weight. The city may chant your legend, but heaven watches your character. Walk like a king, but speak like a servant. Let every nod from the crowd remind you, it's not about fame, it's about faithfulness. The world loves sparks, but destiny demands endurance. You didn't survive this long just to shine, you survived to serve. The streets respect strength, but heaven crowns stewardship. Don't chase moments, build momentum. Stay kind when it's inconvenient. Stay calm when others perform. Stay silent when noise tries to drag you back into pettiness. Humility is your crown invisible. It's what keeps your aura golden and your steps guided. Every act of restraint polishes your destiny. Don't brag about the journey, breathe it. Don't explain your greatness, embody it. Let your peace become proof. Remember, the higher you rise, the lower your spirit must bow. Because divine elevation doesn't inflate, it refines. The humble move like rivers, powerful, patient, impossible to stop. Keep your feet on the ground even when your name touches the sky. You are carrying a prophecy disguised as presence. Handle it with care, walk it with weight. Walk humble. Walk heavy. Because heaven resists the proud, but it rides with the grounded. And every step you take in humility sends ripples through eternity, whispering the line the streets can't stop repeating. They said you'd never make it, but look at them now, walking with thunder in their silence. You're not famous, you're felt. The difference is vibration. Fame fades when the feed scrolls, presence lingers after people forget your name. You were never built for applause, you were built for atmosphere. Rooms shift when you enter because truth travels with you. Influence isn't followers, it's footsteps others trace after yours. You don't lead by shouting, you lead by walking. Every quiet decision became a compass for someone watching from the shadows. You are not a celebrity, you are a signal. The streets didn't crown you, they confirmed you. They saw purpose in motion and named it strength. You used to chase validation, now validation chases clarity, the kind you carry naturally. You're not the product of luck, you're the proof of alignment. The world calls it confidence. Heaven calls it obedience. Your calm isn't apathy, it's mastery. The storm inside you finally learned to sing instead of shout. You are both survivor and sermon. A walking translation of resilience into rhythm. People see your glow and mistake it for glamour, only you know it's gratitude. That's why your silence speaks volumes, it's fluent in peace. You don't need to explain anymore. You've reached the part of the journey where evidence replaced argument. The old version of you sought recognition, the current version radiates realization. You discovered that identity isn't what others label, it's what endurance reveals. You were not made to impress, you were made to express the divine through discipline. That's why failure couldn't stick, your spirit kept rewriting it as foundation. You are not what happened to you. You are what kept happening after it tried to stop you. That's identity. Not a role, not a brand, a vibration. Even when you're quiet, purpose hums through your bones like distant drums. You've outgrown introductions, your energy enters first. You used to explain your worth with words, now rooms remember how they felt around you. That's transformation, when your presence starts doing the talking. The real ones recognize it instantly, they feel safe before they even know why. Because what you carry isn't charisma, it's clarity wrapped in compassion. You don't flex power, you host it. Your identity has become less about proving and more about providing peace, courage, perspective. The old battles made you heavy, now that weight has turned into wisdom. The shift is real. You felt it, the subtle static in the air, the pulse behind ordinary moments. Goosebumps at random songs. Lights flicker when you think of purpose. Numbers repeat, dreams replay, instincts sharpen. These are not coincidences, they're confirmations. The unseen has started speaking in your language. Destiny leaves breadcrumbs for those who have finally learned how to listen. You walk into rooms and feel frequencies before faces. Sometimes the silence feels electric, sometimes the wind seems to answer back. That's not paranoia, that's perception. Your spirit has outgrown survival mode and entered signal mode. You can sense who carries peace and who carries poison. You can tell when a conversation drains you or when a stranger's smile feels like prophecy. That sensitivity isn't fragility, it's discernment. Heaven tuned your senses higher because the mission ahead requires awareness, not applause. The streets don't speak English or money, they speak endurance. Every block has a dialect of discipline. Every bruise is a verb, every scar a syllable. You learned the alphabet of survival when the world forgot your name. Each disappointment became punctuation, each comeback, a capital letter. Grit is fluent in silence. It doesn't need translation, you either feel it or you fade before it. The city understands this language because it was written in struggle. Asphalt remembers tears more accurately than trophies. When you walk at midnight and the air tastes like yesterday's pain, that's fluency. You've mastered the tongue of resilience. The language of grit has no grammar, only rhythm. It beats inside your chest like drums carved from heartbreak. It's the voice that says, keep going, when logic says stop. It's the heartbeat that syncs with thunder instead of fear. You don't pray the same when you've bled before. You don't move the same when mercy has memory. Every scar became an autograph of endurance. Signed not with ink, but with persistence.